Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Are you ready to see what's in the Annie's Hook and Needle Club for the month of December? I just got it and I thought I might as well share it with you. If you like this kind of content, please feel free to subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be informed when I have upcoming videos. So last month was my very first month getting the Annie's Hook and Needle Kit Club, and we went through that one and I shared with you we got, I think it was a couple balls of cotton, really nice cotton that I could not really find a comparable. Maybe, you know, like I said, we went and looked at, like, Hobby Lobby was the closest for softness. It was even softer than that. So that was some high quality cotton. And I said that I would continue on with the next month for the Hook and Needle Club just to see what was going on for a couple months. I did not receive any acrylic yet, so I want to try and see if that's what this month is. And so let's open up this one and see what is going on for the month of December. I haven't seen anybody else's for the month of December yet, so I don't know if I'm getting what everybody else is getting. Clearly I didn't last month. I got something different from everyone else. So let's see what we got and what the pattern is. And for those who don't remember, I'll post it at the end of the video too, so you can see last month's video. But for those who don't remember the content from last month, we kind of deemed that that was definitely a beginner's level pattern, and we'll see what this one is. This month we're looking at, I did pay full price last month. I got that I think paid $1.99 plus shipping, so it's like $8. So this month I did pay full price. It's $27, so I'm all in for $27. So let's see what we got. Okay, again we have the envelope. I'm gonna have to actually see what that's all about. All right, so I've seen this one before as well. So this is what I have for this month, and so it is the Sedona Shawl. So this one is going to have the acrylic in it because I have seen other people unbox this as well. I'm getting the sense that with this club, unlike other clubs, it kind of follows a pattern. So when you join, it seems like they put you on a flow of, you know, this is first, this is second, this is third, irregardless of the month. And if you like that, you know, then this would work for you, for sure. I just want to take a feel of that because I remember right that is an acrylic. So this is the card. So this is what the knit pattern looks like for it. And then this one is the crochet pattern for it. It's actually pretty. Because there's a lot of red in there, that's definitely going to go to my daughter. It looks like a very straightforward two-row repeater, and if the directions are good, then it's probably going to be another beginner pattern, just FYI, because I'm seeing a two-row repeater. If the directions are a little wonky, then maybe not. It's telling me that there is 861 yards of sport weight in my bag here, and that it's recommending a size K hook. So this is definitely going to be a drapey type of shawl. It's not that soft. I had heard other people say that it was really soft. I'm not getting that. I mean, it's soft, don't get me wrong, it's soft, but it's not unforgettable soft. Maybe it will be when I start working with it, but I'm feeling not that soft, and so the colors are different than what you guys are seeing. In the pictures, it looks like it's black and white. It's not, or black and red. It's not. This has purple, green, and red. So let me see there. So it's, when I've seen it on other folks where they pulled out, it was black and red, and that is not what this is. This is actually really pretty. It's a pretty color. That green in there is kind of like a muted green, and the purple is a deep, there, that's catching it, a deep purple. I say this 3.5 ounce acrylic, we knew that. 287 yards, and it says it's a 2, and I'm going to agree with that it's a 2. Again, it could be soft. It does have a halo. Let me see if you can see it. And so that may be why it's not feeling as soft, but let me work it up. The proof's in the pudding. Let me see how it works, see if it does some splitting, see if I can find a comparable for this, and see what we think. So let me go work it up, and I will bring the information back to you. See you in a bit. Hi everybody, I am back, and I have finished the Sedona shawl. So I have some comments about this, so let's get to talking about it. And so once I started working up with the yarn, I had said earlier that I didn't think it was that soft. It actually is quite soft. I don't know, maybe just because once I got out and started playing with it, etc., that it actually was quite soft. So let me show you a little bit of what it looks like. And then also what I want to show you is that, give you a little bit of a close-up here, because I'm not sure that the mannequin actually does it justice, to be honest. Because what I want to really show you is how deep those colors are. So like the one at the bottom that you're seeing there is a purple, and then it goes into a green, and then like a coral, and then this light purple, back to green, and then a deep plum. So the colors are not what they appear. I'm trying to catch it for you. Are not what they appear. And look at the stitch definition. Now, let's talk about that for a second. It recommended, I told you that before, for a K-hook. Not what I did. Just because it just was too lacy, and it was not getting any stitch definition. So I left part at the other end, I think a small part that had some of that bigger hook, and it was just too lacy. And you can see it kind of looks funny there. It's just like a row or two that I left, just for examples. But once I switched it down to the K-hook and started doing a tighter stitch, you can see it has much better stitch definition with that. So that's one of the things that I did for it. I also had to change up the pattern. It called for 68 stitches across. Let me look, I'm pretty sure. 60 or 69. 69 stitches across, and that was too wide. And so 69, a chain of 69 across. That was too wide. It actually made it 20 inches wide, and the pattern says that it's supposed to be 15.5 by 62. And so I pulled it back apart, and instead of using a chain of 69, I did a chain of 58, and that gave me the 15 inches. And so just FYI, if you're going to make this, if you want it 20, do 69. But if you want it to be the 15, which is what the pattern is saying it should be, then you're going to want to do 68. Now my final product ended up being, with using chaining 58, it ended up being 15 inches wide, and then I went to 65 inches long. And so I went a few extra inches, and I still have some yarn left over. Let me grab it. All right. So, and I already balled it up. It's mostly the red that's what's left over. And remember, the balls are 3.5 ounces a piece. And so I had 1.5 ounces, almost a half a ball of yarn left over, making it 15 by 65. So again, I had more than enough yarn than what I would have needed for the project, and then have some left over. So in working it up too, another thing that comes to mind was, I would say that this yarn is very, very comparable to Unforgettable, Red Heart Unforgettable. That's what I found as far as how it works up and how the feel of the yarn is. And this is a 2. Unforgettable, I believe, is supposed to be a 2 or a 3. And it's a roving yarn. This is also a roving yarn. But this does not have the thick and thin that the Unforgettable does. And so I've had spots on Unforgettable, and you can see that review on my channel elsewhere. But going down from a 2 up to a 4. In this yarn, I did not see that. It would be a 2 or a 1. And most of the time it was hitting right at a 2, and that's where it would stay. I had very, very little instance where it would jump up and be any greater than a 2, like it pop up to a 4 or 5. It did not do that. As far as frogging, no problem whatsoever. I could frog that stuff right back out, not a problem. Even though it had those little hairs on it, no problem with frogging. I do have one complaint about the yarn, and that is it had some yarn vomit. I had 3 balls of yarn, if you guys remember. I had 3 of those balls, and they were each 287 yards because 3.5 ounce balls. And 2 of the 3, when I would pull from the center pole, it was like crazy. I'll show you a picture. But it was basically, I'd have to pull out part of the center and then pull out the next part of the center, and I would have like 2 or 3 parts of that ball laying around for me to work with, which kind of inhibits you. You know what I'm saying, y'all? You know what I mean? you get the stuff, you get the yarn, and you get your hook going, and you maybe want to relocate to the kitchen or relocate to the dining room, whatever. And it really would slow me down as far as being able to relocate with the project without going through a lot of rigmarole. So 2 of the 3 balls were like that. The 3rd ball, maybe I just finally got the hang of it by the 3rd ball. I don't know. But the 3rd ball was fine. I just pulled it right out of the middle, no problem whatsoever. So that's what I would say on that. As far as price point, as I shared, I see this as very, very comparable to Unforgettable. And as we know, Unforgettable is also in a 3.5 ounce ball, and it's around 280 yards and goes for $6.19 per ball. And so if I was going to say this was very comparable to that, Annie's is also a 3.5 ounce ball, although when I weighed it, every one of the balls was higher than that. Each one of them was 3.7 ounces, just FYI for everybody. And it's also a 290 yards, roughly 290 yards. So if they're kind of comparable, or mostly comparable for that, so that we're looking at almost $19 just for the yarn by itself. So for me, like I say, the pattern was very, very easy. I had no problem whatsoever. It's absolutely an easy pattern for somebody who is a beginner. They can do this pattern without a problem. I'm going to say up front that the very first row, the way it was written for the first row, is confusing. Not because it's hard, it's just the way that they write it. It's very confusing. It's actually very simple. It's basically chain 1 spaces and, chain 1 spaces and fans is what it is. That's what it is. And if you keep that in mind, if you're thinking about working this pattern, that's really what it is. Sets of chain 1 spaces in here, followed by fans, and there's 4 fans across with the chain 1 spaces. Super easy. I thought it was a 2-row repeater. It's not. It's just a 1-row repeater, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And once you get going, this is something that you can just sit in front of the television and just boom, crank it out. It is really an easy pattern. I lucked out with the colors, and as you guys saw on the mannequin, when you're looking at this from Annie's, all of the pictures that I saw about this had most of the colors was red and then a little bit of the, the purple and the green. Mine is just the opposite. I mean, I actually added in a little red in spots just to give it some contrast, because I had huge groups of areas where I would have multiple rows of the dark colors, and I added in a little bit more of the red just to get some contrast in there. Yeah. And so as far as this yarn, again, this is not on their website. I did not see it on their website, but as I shared, I would say that it's very, very comparable to the Unforgettable. And FYI, if you are going to make the pattern, if you go down a hook size from the K to a J, you're going to go down rows as well. If you use the J hook, like it recommends, you'll end up with 28 rows per ball. If you use the J, which is what I did, it'd be 25 rows per ball. So even if you use it all, you're going to get 75 rows. So it's way more than what they're saying as far as the 62 inches. You're going to be able to make a lot more. I considered actually making a secondary item with it, but I didn't. I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and get month 3 of the Annie's Hook and Needle Club because I still haven't gotten the bulky yarn, and I'm actually not unhappy with what I'm getting so far. I mean, the patterns, like I say, they're pretty easy, straightforward, and I'm definitely not minding the yarn that I'm getting. But like I say, not had the bulky yarn or any other types of yarn other than acrylic. So I want to see what else Annie's has to offer as far as that goes. So next box come, we'll be looking at that together to see what's going on with that. Like I say, so far it's not too bad. If you like the idea of having somebody else curate the yarn for you and, you know, presenting that pattern for you, you know, this is something to consider. Again, this is the second month in a row that this one is definitely a beginner pattern for somebody who's a beginner. This may be something for you, maybe not. It just depends on how you feel about those things. But I just wanted to share that information. I'll pop up videos of the Annie's that I've done before, and then also other unboxings and things like that that I've done, so that way you can take a peek at those while you wait for me to do my next Annie's. All right, y'all, you have a fantastic day, and I will chat with you soon.